Back within the high-tech halls of Talk Central Academy, a palpable sense of anticipation filled the air as students from various alien races gathered. The legendary Professor Zorax stood at the front, ready to unravel a chapter of human history, so epic that it still resonated across galaxies. His reputation for unveiling the depths of human strategic genius had only grown, drawing in more eager minds each session. Today, we embark on a journey back to one of the most pivotal battles in Earth's history, the Battle of Titan's Fall, began Professor Zorax, his voice deep and resonant, filling the expansive lecture hall. This wasn't just a battle. It was a testament to human tenacity and strategic brilliance. The room dimmed as holographic images sprang to life, showing a vast, star-filled cosmos with a lone, strategically vital planet known as Titan. The students leaned forward, their eyes wide with curiosity and wonder. Titan's Fall was the site of the largest and most fierce battle between humans and the Drethian Armada, continued Zorax. The Drethians, a race known for their merciless conquests, viewed Earth as a simple target, ripe for the taking. But humans, they turned their apparent weakness into their most formidable strength. A murmur of surprise rippled through the students as the hologram zoomed into the massive Drethian fleet emerging ominously from hyperspace, their ships armed to the teeth, ready to squash the relatively tiny human defensive line. Despite being vastly outnumbered, humans leveraged their deep understanding of Titan's complex asteroid fields to their advantage, explained Zorax, pointing towards the holographic display where small human ships were seen darting towards the asteroid field. Klin, a young and skeptical Tarkin student, raised his hand. "Professor, how did humans manage to overcome such overwhelming odds?" "A brilliant question, Klin," Zorax responded with a knowing smile. Human commanders utilized what they called guerrilla tactics in space. They used the asteroids not just as shields but as weapons, setting up ambushes and traps, turning the entire field into a labyrinth of death for the Drethians. The scene played out dramatically in the classroom. Human ships, agile and quick, luring the bulky Drethian ships into narrow corridors of rock where they fell prey to mines, strategically placed explosives, and sudden, fierce attacks from hidden fighters. As the battle wore on, the Drethians found themselves caught in a web of human ingenuity, narrated Zorax, the excitement in his voice mirroring the thrilling visuals. Each move they made was anticipated and countered, leading to catastrophic losses. The climax of the battle was depicted with stunning clarity, a final, desperate attempt by the Drethians to break through the human lines, met with a cunning counterstrike that decimated the remaining Drethian forces. The Battle of Titan's Fall became more than just a victory. It became a symbol of human defiance and strategic brilliance, Zorax concluded, as the holograms faded back to the classroom setting. It showed the universe that underestimating humans was a perilous mistake. The students were left in stunned silence, their earlier disbelief transformed into deep respect for the strategic depths humans were capable of reaching. As they absorbed the weight of the narrative, the holograms shifted, indicating the story was not yet finished. Professor Zorax, sensing the heightened engagement and curiosity in the room, continued with his lecture. "We have witnessed the Battle of Titan's Fall," Zorax announced, his voice steady and compelling, "but our journey through this monumental chapter of human history is far from over. Stay seated as we delve deeper into the aftermath of this battle and how it forever reshaped the tapestry of interstellar politics." The students, previously ready to discuss and dissect what they had learned, eagerly refocused their attention on the professor. Anticipation filled the room once more as they prepared to understand the broader implications of Titan's fall on the galaxy. Professor Zorax, with a commanding wave of his hand, prompted the holograms to evolve into the next phase of the story, showcasing the ripple effects of the battle across various civilizations and the strategic alliances formed in its wake. The session continued, unraveling the saga of Earth's indomitable spirit and strategic acumen in a galaxy where the echoes of this battle resonated long after the dust had settled. As the holographic images in the classroom transitioned, Professor Zorax guided his students through the aftermath of the monumental Battle of Titan's Fall. The room remained steeped in a mixture of awe and intensity, the echoes of the previous lesson lingering as a vivid backdrop for the new phase of the story. Following the victory at Titan's Fall, Earth's position in the galactic community was irreversibly transformed, began Professor Zorax, his voice imbuing the historical account with gravity. This battle did not just fend off an invasion. It propelled humans into a pivotal role on the interstellar stage. The hologram displayed the bustling activity across human colonies, their spaceships now more frequent sights in cosmic trade routes and diplomatic stations. The students watched as the scenes depicted humans being invited to high-level negotiations and treaty signings, events previously dominated by older, more established alien civilizations. The strategic brilliance displayed by humans during the battle had caught the attention of many Zorax. Alliances that were once unthinkable were now being formed. With Earth as a coveted partner, the display shifted to show various alien leaders discussing strategic partnerships with human diplomats. The humans, once seen as underdogs, were now valued for their unique perspectives on warfare and defense. "Let's focus on the Solarian Pact," said Zorax, zooming in on a significant treaty signing aboard the interstellar station, Aegis Prime. This pact was one of the first major alliances formed after the battle. It included several key players from the Galactic Council who sought to integrate human tactical acumen into their own defense strategies. The classroom's atmosphere turned thoughtful as the implications sank in. Virax, the curious Tarkin student, raised a hand. "Professor, how did other races react to the sudden rise of humans in galactic politics?" "An excellent question, Virax," acknowledged Zorax. Not all were pleased. The Drethians, humiliated by their defeat, were particularly resentful. This led to tensions that simmered beneath the surface of several diplomatic encounters. The hologram illustrated a tense Galactic Council meeting, where Drethian representatives cast cold glares at their human counterparts, their animosity barely concealed. Meanwhile, other delegates expressed a mix of admiration and caution towards humans, their policies adapting to acknowledge the new power dynamic. Despite the underlying tensions, the strategic partnerships formed during this period significantly enhanced Earth's defenses and expanded their influence, explained Zorax. Humanity's knack for turning adversity into advantage became a widely studied and respected doctrine in military academies across the galaxy as the scenes unfolded, showing human-led joint military drills and strategic forums. The students began to grasp the broader narrative. The transformation of Earth from a solitary defender into a central figure in galactic strategy. "Today, we'll delve deeper into the Solarian Pact," Zorax declared, signaling the holograms to display detailed analyses of joint military operations and peacekeeping missions that followed. "We will explore how these alliances not only deterred further aggression, but also fostered a period of unprecedented peace and prosperity." The students leaned in, captivated, as Professor Zorax masterfully narrated the unfolding chapters of human integration into the galactic community. Each strategic move and alliance illustrating the complex dance of diplomacy and power in the cosmos. As the lesson progressed, the significance of human contributions to galactic peace became increasingly clear, painting a picture of a species that, despite its relative youth in the cosmic arena, had swiftly become indispensable. The session continued, not just as a lecture, but as a profound exploration of the impact one pivotal battle had on the fate of a planet and its place among the stars. As the lesson on the Solarian Pact concluded, Professor Zorax transitioned seamlessly into a deeper and more turbulent chapter of human galactic engagement. The classroom, still captivated by the story of diplomacy and alliances, now braced itself for a shift towards the less predictable and more volatile aspects of human interactions in space. In the wake of these alliances, Zorax began, his voice taking on a more serious tone. Earth found itself not just as a partner in peace, but also a target in covert conflicts. "We now delve into the Shadow Wars, a series of clandestine operations where human ingenuity was tested against unseen enemies and hidden threats." The holograms changed to show a series of discrete meetings and covert operations, where human intelligence agents were seen collaborating with alien operatives from the Solarian Pact. The visuals were less grand than the battle fleets of Titan's fall, but no less intense. Here, we see Operation Nightfall, Zorax narrated as the hologram focused on a dark, nebulous region of space known as the Krylon Expanse. Humans led a coalition to dismantle a secret Drethian military outpost that had been a staging ground for attacks against Solarian members. The display detailed a stealth mission, with human and allied alien commandos navigating through the perilously cloaked space station. The tension in the classroom was palpable as the teams disabled security systems, avoided detection, and planted explosives. "Notice the coordination and the use of technology," pointed out Zorax. Humans introduced adaptive cloaking tech that baffled Drethian sensors, a game-changer in stealth operations. As the mission reached its climax, the holograms showed a tense moment when the commandos were nearly discovered. A quick-thinking human operative, using a gadget that emitted a holographic decoy, managed to divert the enemy long enough for the team to escape just as the outpost imploded in a silent, fiery spectacle. The success of Operation Nightfall was a significant blow to Drethian ambitions and a testament to the strategic depth the humans brought to the Solarian Pact, Zorax explained. It also marked the beginning of a series of such operations, where subtlety and secrecy became as vital as firepower. The scene shifted to another operation, this time on a volatile trade route plagued by pirate attacks. The hologram showed a human-designed trap, using bait cargo ships to lure the pirates into an ambush orchestrated by Solarian forces. As these covert operations continued, Zorax continued, his narrative weaving through the intricate dance of shadowy warfare. Humanity's role expanded from military might to include being architects of sophisticated defense strategies that protected not just their own borders, but those of their allies. The lesson moved forward, each operation revealing more about human capabilities in espionage, tactical deception, and the hard choices of unseen warfare. The students were engrossed, their initial perceptions of human combat prowess broadening to include a deep respect for their strategic acumen in all forms of conflict. As Professor Zorax detailed a particularly daring rescue operation to save hostages from a militant faction, the students could not help but admire the bravery and sharp tactics employed by humans. The operation was fraught with danger, involving a high-speed chase through an asteroid belt and a dramatic standoff that ended with the safe recovery of hostages and the capture of the militant leaders. These operations, while not as widely recognized as the large battles, were crucial in maintaining the fragile peace that the Solarian Pact had brought, Zorax concluded, setting the stage for the next chapter in the saga. They underscored a vital lesson. In the cosmos, wars are not always won in the light of stars, but in the shadows they cast. The narrative was far from over, and the students were left eager for more. Fully engrossed in the unfolding story of human strategic evolution in the galaxy. Professor Zorax, seeing his students deeply engaged, proceeded to unfold yet another layer of human strategic brilliance, moving beyond covert operations to the realm of interstellar diplomacy and crisis management. Having solidified their reputation as both fierce warriors and cunning strategists, humans next faced a challenge that would require not just strength or stealth, but profound diplomatic acumen, Zorax announced, adjusting the settings on the hologram projector. The classroom darkened slightly as a new scenario began to unfold. The Vermilion Crisis, he continued, as the holograms illustrated a bustling interstellar summit on the space station, Concordia Prime, where delegates from multiple galactic powers were gathered. This was a critical moment, where a misunderstanding between the Solarian Pact and the Reticulan Coalition threatened to spiral into open conflict. The students watched as the holographic imagery showed human diplomats in tense negotiations with the Reticulans, a species known for their meticulous legalism and hardline stances. The issue at hand was a disputed territory rich in resources, claimed by both a Solarian ally and a Reticulan member. "Watch carefully," instructed Zorax. "Notice how the human diplomats navigate these treacherous waters." The hologram zoomed in on a young human ambassador, her expression calm yet assertive as she engaged with her Reticulan counterparts. Using a combination of firm diplomatic rhetoric and a deep understanding of Reticulan culture, the human ambassador proposed a novel solution, a joint research initiative that would allow both parties to explore and benefit from the disputed territory, deferring sovereignty claims and creating a shared profit model. The tension in the room was evident as the Reticulan delegates deliberated, their antennae twitching in what was known to be a sign of contemplative agitation. After what seemed like an eternity, they agreed to the proposal, much to the relief of all parties involved. The Vermilion Crisis was averted not by the might of fleets or the stealth of spies, but by the power of words and the wisdom of compromise, Zorax elucidated, his voice filled with a hint of pride. It was a definitive moment that showcased humanity's growing prowess in diplomatic arenas. The lesson progressed, with Zorax explaining the aftermath of the crisis. The joint venture not only proved successful, but also became a model for resolving similar disputes across the galaxy. The holograms displayed thriving research bases and bustling commercial hubs, where both Solarian and Reticulan scientists and entrepreneurs worked side by side. This spirit of collaboration didn't stop at just one crisis, Zorax added. It sparked a wave of diplomatic initiatives spearheaded by humans, often bringing together the most unlikely of allies to the negotiation table. The classroom was alive with the vibrant scenes of intergalactic diplomacy, trade agreements, and peace treaties, all facilitated by human diplomats who had become indispensable mediators in cosmic affairs. As the holographic displays showcased a series of successful peace talks mediated by humans, ending long-standing conflicts and opening new avenues of cooperation, the students could not help but feel a mix of admiration and astonishment at the versatile roles humans played in shaping the galaxy. From the Battle of Titan's fall to the corridors of Concordia Prime, Zorax concluded, humanity has demonstrated time and again that they are not just participants in galactic history. They are pivotal figures in crafting a legacy of peace and prosperity. As the students absorbed the full weight of the narrative, they began to understand that the saga of human engagement in the cosmos was not only a complex tapestry woven with threads of valor, cunning, and wisdom, but also marked by shadows of conflict and strife. As the holograms faded, leaving behind a galaxy map dotted with sites of human influence, the atmosphere in the room shifted subtly. The lesson hinted at a darker chapter yet to come, one that would delve into a period of tension and hostility that briefly plunged the galaxy back into the specter of war. Professor Zorax's voice took on a somber tone as he prepared the students for the next part of the story. While humans have been architects of peace, it's important to remember that the path was not always smooth. Next, we will explore a challenging era where burgeoning tensions escalated into a conflict that tested the resilience and diplomatic gains of the human race. This chapter will reveal how quickly peace can fray, yet also how it can be woven through courage and determination. The room was filled with a mix of anticipation and apprehension as the students prepared to confront the darker aspects of interstellar relations, setting the stage for a deeper exploration of the challenges that lay ahead in the human saga. As the classroom lights dimmed further, Professor Zorax activated the next series of holograms, revealing a starkly different scenario from the ones previously discussed. The atmosphere was tense, reflecting the gravity of the upcoming lesson about a darker period in human galactic relations. We now turn our focus to the Echo conflict. Professor Zorax began, his voice echoing solemnly through the classroom. This was a time marked not by unity, but by division, where simple misunderstandings and festering mistrust led to a brief but intense flare of warfare across multiple systems. The hologram displayed a series of minor incidents that escalated rapidly. A disputed border skirmish over resource rights, an accidental military engagement due to miscommunication, and provocative maneuvers by both human and alien fleets. Each incident, seemingly insignificant on its own, compounded into a volatile situation. Despite the advancements in diplomacy, the galaxy was still a place of competing interests and old grudges, explained Zorax. The Echo conflict ignited from a spark into a conflagration that threatened to undo decades of peace-building efforts. The visual narrative showed human and alien warships lining up in battle formations near the volatile border region known as the Viridian Sector. The tension was palpable as both sides prepared for what seemed an inevitable conflict. In this hour of darkness, Zorax continued, it was the humans who, despite being one of the parties embroiled in the rising conflict, took a bold step towards de-escalation. The hologram shifted to a dramatic scene. A human diplomatic envoy, under a white flag of truce, approached the lead alien command ship amidst the bristling armada. Their mission was fraught with risk. The envoy carried a proposal for peace, but also the burden of past grievances and current fears, narrated Zorax. The students watched, captivated, as the human diplomats met with their alien counterparts, the tension of the meeting palpable even through the holographic projection. The discussion was intense, with moments of evident frustration and near breakdowns. Yet, as hours turned into days, the negotiations began to bear fruit. Compromises were forged, and agreements took shape, focusing on a mutual desire to avoid the devastation of war. "Observe closely," urged Zorax as the holograms detailed the crucial turning point. It was not merely the desire to avoid conflict that prevailed, but a profound recognition of shared futures and the catastrophic cost of war. The climax of this intense diplomatic endeavor was a historic treaty signed aboard the very same human ship that had first approached the alien fleet. The treaty not only resolved the immediate conflict, but also established a new framework for handling disputes, emphasizing communication and joint problem-solving. As the treaty was enacted, the fleets withdrew, and the Echo conflict ended as suddenly as it had begun, concluded Zorax. The holograms now showed celebrations across various worlds, both human and alien, as news of the peace agreement spread. This chapter of history teaches us a crucial lesson about the fragility of peace and the constant vigilance required to maintain it, Zorax reflected. It underscores the human capacity not only to fight, but, more importantly, to forge peace from the precipice of war. As the light slowly brightened, the students were left to ponder the dual nature of humanity, capable of both conflict and profound peacemaking. Their actions driven by a complex interplay of fear, courage, and ultimately hope. The session had provided them with a deeper understanding of the challenges and triumphs that shaped the human legacy in the stars, preparing them for further explorations into the ongoing journey of humans within the vast tapestry of galactic civilizations. With the Echo conflict freshly imprinted in the minds of the students, Professor Zorax shifted the narrative to a subsequent era that highlighted human resilience and innovation under pressure. As the classroom holograms flickered back to life, they depicted a period of recovery and technological renaissance that followed the fragile peace. After the turmoil of the Echo conflict, humanity recognized the need for not only rebuilding but also advancing their capabilities to prevent future escalations. Professor Zorax began, setting the stage for a story of triumph over adversity. This era was marked by what is now known as the Great Leap in human technology and interstellar relations. The hologram showcased Earth and its colonies in a state of rapid technological evolution. Engineers and scientists from various species collaborated on projects that were once deemed ambitious or even impossible. The visuals displayed the construction of the Nexus gateways, massive interstellar portals that facilitated faster travel and communication between distant galaxies, a project that symbolized a new era of cooperation and connectivity. The Nexus gateways were not just marvels of engineering. They were beacons of unity, drawing together numerous races towards a common goal, explained Zorax. His voice carried a tone of admiration as the holograms detailed the cooperative construction, with human and alien scientists working side by side. As the students watched, another aspect of human ingenuity came to light: advancements in AI and robotics. The holograms illustrated human-led research labs where artificial intelligence systems were developed to aid in diplomatic negotiations, capable of processing vast amounts of historical data to predict potential conflict points and propose equitable solutions. Here, we see the introduction of the Sentinel eyes, Zorax pointed out, as the holographic AI units were shown acting as mediators in complex diplomatic discussions. These eyes were designed to be impartial advisors in interstellar councils, ensuring that the mistakes of the past were not repeated. The focus then shifted to a less visible, but equally significant development: the establishment of the Interstellar Peace Corps. This initiative, spearheaded by humans, was aimed at rapid response to emerging conflicts and natural disasters across the galaxy, further cementing humanity's role as peacekeepers. The Peace Corps became one of the most respected organizations in the galaxy, symbolizing a commitment to proactive peace rather than reactive warfare, Zorax narrated. The holograms displayed diverse teams of the Corps in action, providing aid in mediating disputes before they escalated into violence. However, as the story unfolded, it was clear that challenges persisted. The holograms briefly darkened, showing a series of minor conflicts that tested the resilience of these new systems and alliances. Through each challenge, the Peace Corps, aided by Sentinel eyes, managed to navigate complexities that once would have led to war. As we move forward, Zorax continued, his voice suggesting a seg into the next chapter of the narrative. We'll explore how these advancements were put to the test during the crisis of the Outer Rim. Where human diplomacy and technological prowess faced their greatest challenge yet, the students were engrossed, their earlier lessons on human military strategies now complemented by an understanding of their diplomatic and technological strides. Humanity's journey from warriors of necessity to architects of peace provided a comprehensive view of their evolving role in the cosmic theater, setting the stage for deeper exploration of their impact on galactic stability and unity. Professor Zorax, sensing the growing curiosity among his students, prepared to dive deeper into a critical event known as the Crisis of the Outer Rim. This part of human history illustrated not just the application of their technological and diplomatic innovations, but also the resilience and strategic acumen that were becoming synonymous with humanity's role in the galaxy. As we continue, Professor Zorax began, the holograms transitioning to show a remote cluster of star systems on the edge of the galaxy known as the Outer Rim. We encounter the Crisis of the Outer Rim, a series of events that threatened the fragile balance of peace and tested the mettle of human diplomacy and technological prowess. The hologram displayed a map dotted with key locations where tensions were escalating due to a surge in piracy and resource competition. The visuals zoomed in on a particular system where a major incident had sparked a crisis. A human-operated mining colony was attacked by a coalition of alien pirates, destabilizing the region. This moment was a litmus test for the Nexus Gateways and the Interstellar Peace Corps, Zorax explained. Rapid response and mediation were crucial to preventing a larger conflict that could have engulfed the entire rim. The students watched as the holographic representation of the Peace Corps mobilized through the Nexus Gateway, arriving at the conflict zone within hours. The visuals highlighted the integration of Sentinel AI in the operation, providing real-time analysis and negotiation strategies to the human commanders and diplomats on the ground. Despite their quick response, the situation was volatile. Zorax narrated, the intensity of the scene palpable in the classroom. The pirates were diverse, composed of several alien races, and initially resistant to negotiation. It was here that the true strength of human-led diplomacy was put to the test. The holograms showed tense, high-stakes negotiations, with human diplomats working tirelessly to broker peace. They offered innovative solutions, such as shared mining rights and technology exchanges, which gradually shifted the narrative from confrontation to cooperation. Notice the pivotal role of human ingenuity in these negotiations, pointed out Zorax. Their ability to think outside conventional solutions and their readiness to integrate technology and diplomacy were key to de-escalating the crisis. As peace was tentatively restored, the visuals shifted to show the aftermath of the crisis. The region not only recovered but thrived under new cooperative agreements, setting a precedent for handling similar disputes across the galaxy. The Crisis of the Outer Rim serves as a compelling chapter in human history, showcasing their dual capability as peacemakers and innovators, concluded Zorax as the holograms faded, leaving behind a visual of the galaxy marked by human influences and alliances. The room was silent for a moment, the students processing the depth of the narrative. Their understanding of humanity's strategic evolution was now layered with real examples of how humans had navigated complex galactic challenges. Professor Zorax, noting the keen interest on the faces of his students, opened the floor for questions. Now, let's dive deeper into any aspects of human history that intrigue you. Feel free to ask about specific battles, strategies, or any element of their interstellar engagements, he announced, readying the hologram controls for instant access to visual aids. If you're enjoying the video so far, please consider subscribing. Thanks for your support. Now, let's back to the story. A Zeltronian student raised her hand, her voice tinged with curiosity. Professor Zorax, you mentioned the innovative tactics used during the Battle of Titan's Fall. Could you show us exactly how humans managed to turn the tide against the Drithian fleet using the asteroid field? Professor Zorax nodded, his fingers dancing across the control panel to activate the holograms. As the battle scene replayed in vivid detail, the classroom watched with rapt attention. "Excellent question," he responded, his voice filled with enthusiasm for the tactical display unfolding before them. The hologram showcased a fleet of human ships, smaller and seemingly less imposing than their Drithian counterparts, navigating through the dense asteroid field that orbited Titan. "Observe closely," Zorax directed as the holographic ships executed a series of precise maneuvers. Each ship is not merely avoiding asteroids, but intentionally guiding the Drithians into predetermined zones. The students watched as the human ships, using their superior agility, darted through narrow passages between the asteroids. The Drithian ships, larger and less maneuverable, struggled to maintain the same pace and precision. "Here, notice this segment," Zorax pointed out as one human ship feigned a malfunction, drifting seemingly out of control. The Drithian fleet, sensing an easy target, redirected their course to intercept. However, this move was a calculated ruse by the humans. As the Drithians approached, they found themselves in a narrow corridor heavily mined with explosives previously deployed by human ships. Each of these mines, Zorax explained, is equipped with a proximity trigger and a delayed activation to allow human ships to clear the area. Watch as the Drithian ships entered the corridor. The mines activated in a domino effect, creating a devastating chain of explosions that disabled several Drithian vessels instantly. The classroom was silent, the impact of the strategy sinking in. This tactic was not born from a mere desire to engage the enemy, Zorax continued, but from a strategic necessity to use every available tool and aspect of the environment. It's a hallmark of human strategy, turning what seems like ordinary space debris into a formidable weapon. Further, the hologram highlighted a group of human fighters that had hidden behind larger asteroids, lying in wait. As the Drithian ships dealt with the chaos of the mine explosions, these fighters launched a sudden and aggressive counterattack, targeting the now exposed flanks of the Drithian fleet. This ambush completed the encirclement, Zorax noted, gesturing towards the hologram where the human ships, small but deadly, darted in and out of asteroid cover, striking with precision. The Drithians, caught off guard and unable to organize a cohesive response due to the initial mine strikes, suffered significant losses. Professor Zorax paused the display, allowing the scene to resonate with the students. "This battle, my students, exemplifies the depth of human strategic thinking. It's not just the technology, but how you use it, blending tactics with the environment to create opportunities where none seem to exist." As the hologram faded, leaving behind the debris of the fictional battle, the students were left with a vivid illustration of human ingenuity in warfare, a lesson in the art of turning survival into a tactical art form. Next, another student, a young Draxian whose species was known for their tactical acumen, followed up. In the Echo conflict, how did humans convince both sides to come to the negotiating table instead of escalating the war? The hologram shifted to the tense diplomatic meetings during the Echo conflict. Here, humans employed what they call back-channel diplomacy, secret and informal communications that allowed both sides to negotiate without losing face publicly, explained Zorax. The visuals illustrated human diplomats in discreet discussions, slowly weaving a thread of trust between the opposing factions. An intrigued third student from the warrior race of Kriegans asked a more pointed question. Was there ever a moment when human military power alone decided the outcome of an interstellar, where diplomacy was secondary? Professor Zorax, anticipating such inquiries about the direct use of military power, activated the holographic projector to bring up a detailed visual representation of the lesser-known but pivotal Battle of Orion's Belt. The scene unfolded on the border of the Orion sector, a strategically critical junction in galactic trade routes. As we delve into this example, Zorax began, his voice deep and measured. Observe the Battle of Orion's Belt, a confrontation that was brief yet decisively intense. The hologram displayed a star system characterized by its dense asteroid belts and complex gravitational fields. Amidst this challenging environment, the hologram zoomed in on a fleet of sleek, menacing human warships, their hulls bristling with the latest armament technology. This battle occurred under extreme urgency, Zorax narrated. Human territories were threatened by an aggressive alien coalition, determined to expand their control over the Orion sector. The stakes were high, and a prolonged conflict would have been devastating. The students watched as the human fleet maneuvered into a defensive formation, their ships aligning to create a unified front. Here, Zorax pointed out, humans deployed what was then a revolutionary weapon. The pulse disruptor cannon. The hologram showcased the main ship in the fleet, its central cannon charging with a visible buildup of energy. This weapon, he continued, was designed to emit a powerful pulse that disrupted electronic systems and disabled enemy ships without causing widespread destruction. As the enemy fleet approached, confident in their numerical superiority, the human commander gave the order. The pulse disruptor cannon fired a brilliant, pulsating beam of light that arced across space and hit the leading enemy ships. The impact was immediate and overwhelming, Zorax explained. The pulse effectively neutralized the enemy's navigational systems and weapons controls, rendering their ships inert and vulnerable. The hologram illustrated the chaos that ensued among the alien fleet as ships drifted helplessly, unable to maintain formation or retreat. With their fleet in disarray, the aliens had no choice but to surrender, and the conflict ended as swiftly as it had begun. Zorax paused, allowing the implications of such a decisive use of power to sink in. This battle, he concluded, highlights the human approach to warfare, swift, innovative, and when necessary, overwhelmingly powerful. It serves as a stark reminder that while diplomacy is preferred, the capacity for decisive military action remains a crucial aspect of human strategy in maintaining peace and security. As the scene faded, leaving the image of the now peaceful Orion sector, the students were left with a deeper understanding of the balance between innovation and raw power in human military history, appreciating the complex layers that defined human engagements across the cosmos. The session continued with more questions. A shy, academically inclined Jinthian student ventured, how have humans influenced other civilizations with their tactics? Are there examples of other species adopting human strategies? Absolutely, Zorax replied, showcasing instances where alien military academies incorporated human tactics into their curricula. This is a testament to the adaptability and universal applicability of human strategic thinking. It's not just about the battles they fought, but also about the legacy of their approach to conflict resolution and warfare. As each question unfolded, the holograms vividly brought to life the scenarios discussed, from epic space battles to quiet, intense diplomatic negotiations. The room was alive with the energy of discovery and understanding, the students captivated by the depth and breadth of human strategic influence across the cosmos. As the session drew to a close, the students had not only learned about human history, but had actively engaged with it, challenging their own perspectives and gaining a deeper appreciation for the complexities of interstellar relations shaped by humanity. This lively exchange left them inspired and more knowledgeable about the pivotal role humans played in the galactic community, their minds buzzing with new insights and a greater understanding of the intricacies of cosmic diplomacy and warfare. As the students processed the profound implications of the Battle of Orion's Belt, Professor Zorax smoothly transitioned to another critical aspect of human military engagements. The classroom remained energized, each revelation about human strategies adding layers to their understanding of the broader tactical landscape. Let's shift our focus to a different theater of operations, Zorax announced, manipulating the holographic display to bring up a new. We'll explore the siege of the Lighten system, a campaign that exemplifies human resilience and strategic endurance over a prolonged conflict. The holograms shifted to depict the Lighten star system, known for its dense asteroid fields and a small but vital colony that had become the flashpoint of a protracted siege. The visuals detailed the positioning of both human and enemy forces, with human outposts appearing significantly under-resourced and isolated. The Lighten siege was a test of human endurance and tactical ingenuity under resource constraints, Zorax explained. Faced with a blockade that cut off supply lines and reinforcements, the human commanders had to think unconventionally to sustain their position and morale. The holographic scene showed the human forces utilizing guerrilla tactics, leveraging the asteroid fields for hit and run attacks against the besieging fleet. Ingeniously, They had converted civilian mining drones into makeshift surveillance and combat units, using them to harass enemy supply convoys and create openings for critical resupply missions. Notice how the humans used every asset at their disposal. Zorex pointed out as the holograms displayed a series of skirmishes that highlighted the adaptability of human forces. They reconfigured mining equipment into defensive technologies, turning what was once a civilian operation into a fortified stronghold as the siege dragged on. The students could see the toll it took on both sides. The besiegers, frustrated by the unexpectedly stiff and resourceful resistance, began to show signs of fatigue and overextension. This prolonged resistance eventually led to diplomatic openings, continued Zorex. The human command used the attrition they were causing as leverage, proposing negotiations that ultimately led to the lifting of the siege and a mutual non-aggression pact. The visuals transitioned to show the peace talks, where human diplomats, alongside military leaders, negotiated terms that not only secured their immediate survival, but also established a precedent for handling similar standoffs in the region. The siege of the Lighten system underscores a key theme in human military philosophy, Zorex concluded, as the holographic battlefield faded into a star map showing human and alien territories. Persistence, innovation, and the use of diplomacy as a strategic tool in warfare. As the discussion about the siege wrapped up, the students were visibly moved by the resilience displayed by humans in such dire circumstances. Their understanding deepened, not just of military tactics, but of the human spirit's capacity to endure and negotiate peace from a position of disadvantage. The next chapter in our exploration will take us to the Helix Nebula conflict, Zorex announced, preparing to delve into another significant event. Here, we will see how humans managed to turn a potentially catastrophic military engagement into a landmark victory that reshaped regional power dynamics. The students readied themselves for yet another insightful lesson, their eagerness undiminished by the depth and complexity of the topics. Each story not only broadened their knowledge, but also honed their ability to analyze and appreciate the strategic dimensions of interstellar warfare. Professor Zorex, continuing the engrossing saga of human strategic prowess, transitioned to the story of the Helix Nebula conflict. As the classroom lights dimmed once more, the holographic projector illuminated the room with a scene of the distant Helix Nebula, a region known for its volatile political landscape. As we delve deeper into human engagements, Zorex began, his voice resonant and clear. We arrive at the Helix Nebula conflict, a defining moment where human forces demonstrated not only military brilliance, but also a profound commitment to peace and stability. The hologram displayed a cluster of planets, each marked by different colors representing various alien races. The Helix Nebula, a strategic choke point in the galaxy, had long been a hotbed of conflict due to its valuable resources and strategic positioning. The conflict began when tensions over mining rights escalated into full-blown warfare, Zorex explained. The area was initially controlled by the Ventari Alliance, a coalition of species with a reputation for ruthlessness in defending their territory. As the scene unfolded, students saw an aggressive advance by the Ventari forces, overpowering smaller planets and enforcing harsh rule over the nebula. The visuals vividly portrayed the chaos and suffering of the local populations under Ventari dominance. Into this tumultuous situation, human forces were drawn not by conquest, but by a coalition of smaller alien races pleading for assistance, Zorex continued. The holograms shifted to show human diplomatic ships arriving at the conflict zone, initiating tense negotiations with both the Ventari and the oppressed species. The humans, recognizing the potential for widespread disaster, proposed a series of treaties aimed at de-escalation, Zorex narrated. The visuals depicted intense diplomatic sessions, with human negotiators mediating heated discussions. However, as diplomacy initially faltered, the holograms showed human warships deploying into strategic positions. Here, we see the dual approach that humans often took, negotiating from a position of strength, Zorex pointed out. The scene escalated quickly to a critical standoff, with Ventari and human forces on the brink of a major battle. Just as tensions reached their peak, a breakthrough in negotiations was achieved through a surprising act of human ingenuity and goodwill. Human commanders orchestrated a covert operation to rescue hostages held by the Ventari. Broadcasting the operation lived to all parties involved, Zorax explained. The hologram displayed a daring and precise rescue mission, pulling Ventari hostages from the brink of execution. This act of bravery and fairness shifted the perspective of many within the Ventari alliance, Zorax added, as the visuals showed the Ventari leaders agreeing to peace talks, influenced by the humanity and honor displayed by Earth's forces. As a result, the Helix Nebula conflict ended not with the destruction and domination, but with a peace accord that led to shared governance and equitable resource distribution, concluded Zorax. The holographic display brightened to show a vibrant, cooperative community flourishing under the new system. This conflict underscores the complex role of humans in galactic affairs, as warriors when necessary, as peacemakers when possible, and always as champions of stability and fairness, Zorax summarized, setting the stage for the next part of the lecture series, where the dynamics of another interstellar engagement would be explored. The students, now more deeply aware of the strategic and moral dimensions of human military involvement, prepared themselves for the continuing journey through the rich and intricate tapestry of human combat history. As the session continued, Professor Zorax turned the focus to an epic interplanetary war that not only defined human military resolve, but also highlighted their role as protectors within the galactic community. The holographic display shifted to depict an expanse of space marked by chaos and conflict, the setting of a notorious confrontation known as the Battle of Sarnath. In this next chapter of our exploration, we delve into the Battle of Sarnath, where Earthlings played a crucial role in a conflict between what we might term good and bad aliens, Professor Zorax announced, setting a grave tone. The classroom dimmed further as stars and planets came into view, swirling around a significant central system. As tensions escalated into a full-blown war, the Thalaxians, outmatched and on the brink of collapse, sought assistance from Earth. Professor Zorax began, his voice reflecting the gravity. The holographic display illuminated the strategic meetings that took place on Earth, where military and civilian leaders debated the implications of intervention. Rapid discussions and strategy sessions played out, showcasing Earth's commitment to galactic peace and justice. Despite the daunting odds, Earth decided to intervene, driven not by the prospect of gain, but by a steadfast commitment to uphold principles of justice and protect the Thalaxians from annihilation, Zorax explained. The holograms shifted to show human fleets, modest yet impressively equipped, deploying alongside Thalaxian forces. Together, they formed a formidable defensive perimeter around the key planets of the Sarnath system, strategically positioned to intercept incoming attacks. The battle scenes that unfolded were intense and dramatic. Observe here, Zorax directed as the visuals displayed human and Thalaxian ships executing complex maneuvers. Human commanders employed a series of decoy operations, deploying older, unmanned ships rigged with explosives into the path of the Zortrax fleet. These decoys, simulating life signs and combat capability, drew fire and attention, allowing human and Thalaxian strike forces to flank the enemy. Notice the guerrilla tactics here. Zorax pointed out as smaller, more agile fighter squads launched from hidden positions within asteroid belts and derelict space structures. These squads targeted Zortrax supply lines and isolated scout ships, sowing chaos and confusion within the invading forces, drastically reducing their operational effectiveness. Amid the turmoil, a particularly poignant moment captured the essence of human valor and strategy. Here, Zorax highlighted, human forces executed a daring rescue mission. The hologram zoomed in on a small squadron of human ships, equipped with advanced cloaking technology, penetrating deep behind enemy lines. Their target was a besieged Thalaxian outpost, under heavy fire and at risk of being overrun. The students watched, riveted, as the human ships navigated through a hail of enemy fire, reaching the outpost and deploying teams to evacuate wounded soldiers and civilians. This operation, Zorax narrated, utilized state-of-the-art stealth and rapid extraction techniques, ensuring minimal detection and maximizing the number of lives saved. The rescue mission not only successfully evacuated the Thalaxian non-combatants, but also managed to recover critical data and fallen warriors' bodies, honoring their allies' cultural practices and deepening the bonds of trust and respect between the two species. This act of bravery did not go unnoticed, Zorax emphasized. The display showed the aftermath of the rescue, Thalaxian forces, rejuvenated by the show of solidarity and tactical support, rallied and launched a series of counter-offensives that began to turn the tide of the war. As the conflict drew to a close, the Zortrax, now grappling with the attrition of their forces and the unexpected resilience of the human-Thalaxian alliance, found themselves unable to sustain their campaign. Ultimately, the Zortrax agreed to a ceasefire. Zorax narrated as the hologram illustrated the peace treaty signing. Humans played a central role in the negotiations, leveraging their diplomatic and military insights to forge a settlement that ensured security and autonomy for the Thalaxians. The Battle of Sarnath stands as a testament to human military prowess and their commitment to higher ideals, even when faced with limited resources and significant risks, concluded Zorax. It's a powerful reminder of the impact one species can have on the broader cosmic stage. As the holograms faded, leaving behind images of peace and reconstruction in the Sarnath system, the students absorbed the depth of the narrative, understanding more fully the complex role humans played, not just as warriors, but as protectors and peace builders in a tumultuous galaxy. As the holographic projector dimmed to a softer glow, Professor Zorax prepared to share a memory from his personal encounters, one that had left an indelible mark on his perspective. The mood in the classroom shifted, picking up on the subtle change in the professor's tone, more reflective and tinged with a certain reverence. Today, we delve into a dimension of history that is often overshadowed by grander narratives, those quiet moments of profound leadership that can define the outcome of conflicts. Professor Zorax began, his voice soft yet captivating. I want to recount an experience on a third planet in the Alpha Centauri system, a time that tested the essence of what it means to lead. The scene set on the hologram was a stark landscape, scarred from skirmishes yet buzzing with the urgent activities of a makeshift command center. It was here, Zorax explained, that he met Commander Sarah Jensen, a human military leader whose presence seemed to command the chaos into order. As we navigated the aftermath of a conflict, I observed Commander Jensen's interactions, her negotiations, not just as a diplomat, but as someone deeply committed to the healing that follows war, Zorax narrated. The hologram showed Jensen in the midst of negotiations, her demeanor both commanding and empathetic, bridging divides with an ease that spoke of deep experience and understanding. Commander Jensen had a rare ability to listen, a genuine, earnest engagement with differing perspectives that turned potential adversaries into reluctant allies. The visuals highlighted a tense negotiation session, easing under her measured words and thought. Zorax paused, his gaze lingering on the image of Jensen orchestrating relief efforts. Her leadership was not merely about strategy, but about forging paths to peace that others believed were too fraught with peril to even attempt. The admiration in his voice was palpable, though he offered no direct personal reflections, maintaining a professional distance in his storytelling. In one particularly revealing moment, Zorax continued, shifting the focus to a quieter, more secluded discussion away from the negotiation table. She shared insights into what she termed the dual path, balancing the immediate demands of conflict with the far-reaching vision for peace. The hologram captured a less formal interaction, perhaps more telling in its simplicity, with Jensen outlining her vision to Zorax. It was her conviction that leadership in times of war necessitated a commitment to what comes after, the rebuilding. She believed that true victory was not in conquest, but in securing a future devoid of the need for further conflict, Zorax explained. The hologram subtly mirrored his fondness for the subject, detailing not just the words but the earnest hope reflected in Jensen's expressions. As the professor concluded his recounting, the image on display was that of Jensen overseeing the rebuilding efforts, a figure of resolve and hope against a backdrop of renewed calm. Her philosophy remains a powerful testament to the potential for leadership that transcends mere tactical success, embodying a deeper, more enduring victory. The room fell silent, absorbing not just the tactical lessons but the underlying currents of respect and perhaps something more. An unspoken depth of admiration that Zorax held for Jensen's ideals and character. As the holograms faded, leaving the students with the resonant image of leadership that heals and builds, they were left to ponder not only the strategies but the human elements that weave through the fabric of history, often unseen, but profoundly felt. As the final part of the session approached, Professor Zorex prepared to conclude the series with a reflective summary that would encapsulate the journey through human military history, emphasizing the lessons learned and the profound impact of human actions on the galaxy. The classroom was still, the air thick with anticipation and the weight of the stories that had been shared. Today, as we conclude our exploration of human combat history, it is crucial to reflect on what we have learned and how these lessons resonate not just in the context of war, but in shaping a vision for a future where such conflicts may become unnecessary. Professor Zorex began, his voice carrying a solemn gravitas. The holographic projector lit up one last time, displaying a montage of the various battles, strategies, and diplomatic efforts they had examined. From the tactical ingenuity at Titan's Fall to the courageous rescue operations in the Sarnath system, each moment was a thread in the intricate tapestry of human endeavors across the cosmos. Humanity, though a relatively young participant in the galactic community, has demonstrated a unique capacity for balancing martial prowess with a profound commitment to peace and justice. Zorex continued. The visuals shifted to highlight the peace treaties and alliances that had been forged, the collaborative projects that had been initiated, and the diverse cultures that had come together under human influence. In the Echo conflict, we saw how delicate peace can be and the vigilance required to maintain it. In the Helix Nebula and the Battle of Sarnath, we witnessed the strategic depth and moral courage that can turn the tide of war and forge lasting bonds among former adversaries. He narrated, each scenario reinforcing the complex role humans played. As the images transitioned to show the recovery and rebuilding efforts following these conflicts, Zorex emphasized the resilience and foresight that characterized human interventions. It is not just the battles that define a civilization, but the ability to heal, to rebuild, and to learn from the past to create a more stable and prosperous future, he explained. Finally, the montage concluded with current scenes of interstellar cooperation, human-led councils discussing galactic affairs, joint military training exercises, and cultural exchange programs. This ongoing journey is a testament to the fact that the lessons of history are not confined to the past. They are ever present, guiding us as we navigate the challenges of the present and future. Professor Zorex turned back to his students, his expression both proud and hopeful. As future leaders, diplomats, scholars, and citizens of the galaxy, you carry with you the insights from these lessons. Remember the importance of strategic thinking, the value of empathy and respect for diversity, and the critical need for diplomacy alongside defense. The session ended not with a simple closing remark, but with an invitation for the students to apply these lessons in their own lives and careers. To be the architects of a future where history's lessons are remembered and its mistakes not repeated. The students departed the classroom, not just with a deeper understanding of human military history, but with a renewed sense of responsibility to foster peace and stability in the galaxy. The tales of human conflicts and resolutions had transformed from historical narratives into a living legacy, inspiring a new generation to build upon the foundations laid by those who had navigated the stars before them.